you are. The stream is about to start. Grab your favorite drink. Sit back and relax. You're chilling with HexAsians. With your host, Crypto Vince, Uncle Kevin Hex, and Middle Class Working Man.
HexAsians, nice.
Hey, morning, everyone.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the HexAsian stream. As you can see, we've got a new guest today.
Hello, new guest today.
Welcome, Crypto Stylist.
Hello, hi. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
And just as I said, we've got like the best turnout out of the gate to greet you, Crypto Stylist. It's 45 watt viewers like out of the gate. Incredible for HexAsians. So it's all for you. We got to get to know you today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sending the link to somebody just once.
It's all right. It's all good. Yeah, running through random comments here.
And how are you? In the meantime, how are you over there to my favorite left-hand side?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm doing all right.
You're above me. You are above, Vince.
Yes.
This is above.
Yeah, I wanted to see what was the answer going to be.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Oh, I'm
Need
good,
a little
man.
more sleep, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think we could all use some more of that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I slept until 5 p.m. today. My kids were like, "So this is
lucky
vacation?"
you.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know. Vacation isn't everything is cracked up to be just yet.
No, man.
Oh man. So how are things in Asia world? Since you're the only one that lives out there, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. This is ironic, isn't it? I'm
The irony.
Asia. It's damn cold, is what it is. It just turned all chilly on us over here, and we're getting in the home stretch for Oshogatsu. So everyone's kind of keeping it chill. Kids are out of school. Everyone's locked up, doing their own thing in their own little houses. Little rabbit hutches all over Tokyo behind me, as you see. All these little families are enjoying themselves, and that's all I can say. Is things are chill now. How about you guys?
It's in London. It's not too cold, but it's raining, which is pretty much most of the year, so that's not unusual.
Typical.
You know, it was really leading up to Christmas so nice, and then recently with all the things that have been in the news, it's been a little bit. I think people are a little bit nervous, but you know, I could feel that definitely Christmas Day there were people walking around. They were out. They were celebrating. It was good.
Oh, this is King, and it looks like. Wait a minute. Who's this clean-shaven thing that we've got over here? What the? Did you fall down and rip off your beard?
Yep. It was getting a little. Wasn't smelling too hot, you know.
I know. You know, that's why I don't grow myself.
What's up? Hey, welcome, Crypto Stylist.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my first stream with regarding crypto, or really my first stream kind of ever that has been public. So.
Usually how it happens.
It's with you guys. This is a very special day.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We like to encourage people to, you know, go out there and maybe make themselves a fool. Maybe not. You never know.
So yeah, no, definitely. One of my reasons for streaming is because I do believe that there's not enough women in crypto. Statistically, it's reported it's what, like 29% of the people who participate in crypto are women. So that leaves a lot more room. I think that women should be striving for financial freedom just as much as men should, and it should just be a world that's dominated by one gender. I think it should be very inclusive. So that's really important, I think, in terms of the messaging and just creating a tone and an atmosphere that is not necessarily so testosterone driven, which the crypto and the finance world traditionally has been.
You know, I don't think it's for lack of trying. I think that most of these guys are you know, got their perfect inflatable manga girls next to them while they trade for these shit tokens. So I apologize, but Hex is turning the tides, and I'm glad to see that there's, you know, very intelligent women that are coming on stream, and we welcome you to the streaming community, if not the Hex and Pulse communities as well at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but to the credit of the community, you know, the people that I've met, you know, because in London I went to the gathering, 2-year anniversary, so I met like Funding Jim and RG3 and
Oh, right on.
Kinetics, and I met everybody, and they were so welcoming, so supportive of, you know, this journey into streaming and to trying to get on board more women. I'd like to onboard more Korean people as well. I'm Korean American, and I've never felt that that's really the energy within this community. So I feel very comfortable and really grateful to have found you guys.
Well, that's great news to know that you're of the Korean ethnicity. We have Frank is one of the HexAsians that he's putting together a website with all the different languages in Asia, and I believe Korean is one of his special. I mean, I think his wife is Korean. I think so. If you could join his Telegram group on Telegram, I think he has a Hex Korea maybe, and participate in there as well.
Sorry, we got the big man in the house, Richard Hart himself. This is the first.
Hey!
Yeah. Thank you, Richard, for retweeting the stream. That's really awesome.
I just reached out to him to let him know that I was going live. And
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know,
HexAsians, nice.
What's interesting about Korea, I was researching, and the third most used fiat currency to trade into cryptocurrency is the Korean won.
Wow.
So dollar's number one, euro's number two, and won's number three. So it's a market that's why I really want to go after this market.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how deep Korea is into the. I mean, it's always been deep into the crypto scene ever since the early days. I remember when they tried to ban Bitcoin from Korea the first time. I think they're still trying.
Yeah, it's I think can be tricky there, but they're figuring out a way. They're doing it. So
Well, yeah, well, you know what it is. It's just all verbal threats, right? They can't physically stop people from doing anything online, and that's something we typically have a conversation about because it's kind of odd for people to wrap their heads around that. Because people are usually like they're used to thinking, well, they said you can't do it, so you must not be able to. Instead of them actually going online and seeing that, you know, they actually can't stop you. So, yeah, it's a pretty big divide from understanding and knowing, right? And I think that that's the biggest. That's going to be the biggest hurdle for crypto because a lot of people just don't know that there is no way for anybody to stop them from engaging with the system. It's just a matter of them figuring it out. And the time's going to come, right? Because fiat only has but so long of a shelf life. And we're already nearing the end of that shelf life of the current system. And you can see those stresses everywhere if you're paying attention. So interesting times ahead in a lot of different fronts.
Yeah, there's 15 really addressable markets over here in Asia, not counting, of course, the Indian subcontinent. But what I think we're going to be up against is there's a lot of followers over here, right? There's not when the government says we're looking into DeFi and to hold your horses and not get into this whole thing. If Hex is on their list, the people are going to hold off. So right now we're flying under the radar, which is great. We got this kind of grassroots little slow go movement right here in Japan. We've got Singapore, we've got a burgeoning community. We've got, of course, India starting to maybe wake up because the English is easy. There's no language barrier. But when we light that fire and things really take off, 2/3 of everything talking about Hex and Pulse is going to come out of Asia, I predict. Yeah. So you're on the cusp right now of something great. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting though, because I'm pretty new to this space, and I have a little bit maybe of a far-sighted view in the sense that all the people who I'm surrounded by, because I work in fashion, are not into crypto. They don't really understand it. So I've been able to onboard quite a few people, and I think the subject and the way that I've been able to hook them and get them to convince them to go into it is because of what's happening with inflation and what's happening with our fiat currency system, and it's so broken. And I think that that's a really important subject to educate people on, so they can understand. I feel like we almost have a responsibility as people who understand what's happening and see it and are like already in the system and figuring out how to outsmart it. How can we onboard more people and educate them on what's happening to the money that they're making, that they're putting in the bank, that they're going to depend on in 20 years to live on? They're not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's a pretty important topic. I mean, ever since I started streaming, I've pretty much been talking about it nonstop. And just the inflationary pressures themselves are really what's gonna not so much give crypto an avenue of growth, but it's gonna force people to take a look at what the hell is going on. And you can only do but so much educating of those that don't want to be educated, and unfortunately it's going to take pain for a lot of people to understand the ramifications of the message that we are trying to relay collectively. And because it's not easy, right? A lot of people are like, well, I'm getting paid in this money, so it must be good money. They don't, a lot of people don't think past that, unfortunately for them. But it's going to come a time where everybody's going to have to get re-educated on things that they just didn't think mattered, and that's just where we are in time. I mean, people don't even know basic, human biology anymore. So, and I felt that shit 4 times. So that says a lot about those that just don't know anything and supposedly passed it. Crack a book. I don't know. But a lot of people are going to suffer in the future because they don't like educating themselves or learning. And that's ultimately what we're going to see, right? You got those that are capable of instructing themselves on how to become crypto knowledgeable. And then you have those that are too scared to even crack a PDF, let alone a book on what is going on here. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the future brings, but it's bringing something. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. So
I agree. I mean, for the people who don't get on board, I think it's going to be a very rude awakening one day. But for the people who do want to get on board, I think that it's really important. And I know that Discourse Syndicate and RG3 and Kinetics are working on like educational videos, because even downloading a wallet, a MetaMask wallet, is kind of scary. I mean, you can get scammed doing that. And not to mention, like, how do you then switch that? You get your ETH and you got to switch that into Hex, and then you got to go in a whole thing, and what's Uniswap? Like, what does that mean? And obviously I know, but you have to walk people through it. And then you got to go through all these different transactions, and these weird things will pop up and say, you understand the risk that you could lose it. It's really, I've had girls like literally sweating. Like, they're like, oh my God, this is so scary. Are you sure this is okay? And I think that if we have just like a really good standard videos, like how to on, how to download a MetaMask wallet, and then like security measures, and how to switch into Hex, and how to sacrifice, and for the PulseX launch, because a lot of people are asking me how to do that. And I handhold and I walk as many people through as I can, but I'm only one person. That's not very scalable if we want mass adoption. So I think if we have just kind of a standard, kind of like almost like certified videos, short videos on how to do different things, then that will give people that we're onboarding, we can refer them to these videos, and they can watch it and then walk through it comfortably.
Yeah, we some of our community members have started a great channel called howtopulse.com. You got to take a look at that. And also, they've compiled, or not they, the same people, but there's also hexnoob.com, which is really great as well, which kind of categorizes all the different tidbits that people should be taking care of. But I agree with you that MetaMask is kind of a scary ordeal for noobs. I want to really enforce something a little bit more robust in terms of hand holding. You got to consider the hardware wallet, please, because I field, DM direct messages every day of people that have gotten rinsed. And those are people that are out of the journey possibly forever, right? And not only that, but their tokens get in the hands of bad guys and they dump on our heads. So there's selfish reasons that I do this as well. I really want you to maybe think about, and there are videos that I can point you to as well, to really incorporate that into your onboarding process, please, because it's really important. If you would have asked anybody here on this stream, would they have thought that Hex would be so valuable now when they first came in day one? Throwing down just a couple $100, and now it's looking at like $1 million, asset that they're holding on to. Ask them if they would have wanted to do it a different way in terms of their security. So really, please incorporate that into your onboarding process. It's not hard. It can be more friendly because it's like a little push button, nice little cute thing. Just don't make sure they don't walk around town with it, because there are vulnerabilities also inherent in the hardware itself. So that's my 2 cents. Sorry, I had to plug that because I really believe in that. I deal with that every day.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of security, was there any resolution to, I know that Richard tweeted yesterday, was it yesterday, about Telegram chats and about how, that malware could be attached to
the auto download little false alarm. I think that Richard, and he's in the chat now, so I don't want to speak for him, but from what I read, that portion was debunked, but we should still be on our guard and lock down all of our Telegram, under the security tab. You should have everything to never, right? And make sure that when you auto add a contact, understand that you're possibly sharing your phone number with them automatically. So you have to automatically take them back off of that whitelist so that no one can see your telephone number. So if you have a one-on-one session with somebody on a chat, because you find that they're friendly, you want to go offline, make sure that you make sure that all those telephone number access options are down.
Yeah, it's this tweet right here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did that. I did that immediately when I saw it.
Yeah, the auto download thing is probably a false alarm.
False alarm. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But still, I agree with you, Papa. It's a good practice anyway to not auto download, just to turn that off.
Yeah, just to be safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry. Yeah.
But then,
Yeah, your guy just should not be auto doing anything.
Yeah.
Period. So, yeah. So anytime you get a piece of brand new software, run through it and make sure that the settings make sense. Always. Like that's, it's kind of funny. We're here talking about onboarding people and what it takes, but it's a simple, sad fact that everybody cannot be onboarded, no matter how much you try. Some people just don't want financial freedom. Some people just don't want it enough. And I think as people that are traversing this new world, we have to be okay with that, because I know for me, the hardest thing at the beginning was understanding that everybody cannot be educated. Like it just cannot happen. Like, so don't confuse the ease of, or the lack of ease of being able to figure this stuff out, because I get it's not easy, but it's also not impossible. Because if all of us can figure it out, then clearly some people just do not want it. So I think it's important, and this, goes for everybody, right? Because the mission is onboarding, yada yada, blah blah blah. But at the same time, everybody cannot come along for the ride. So make sure that when you're onboarding people, they're the right people. Don't waste your time, because some people don't deserve it, first and foremost. And we need to really focus on quality over quantity. Having hundreds of motherfuckers in here just for the hell of it doesn't add value, because that's what creates pumps and dumps, right? It doesn't create a perpetual pump. So let's not forget that as well, because everybody likes to talk about virality and all of that, but they don't understand what that actually means. They just like to talk. So, it's just like Hex being on a centralized exchange. Do you really want that? Right? Look at what we got with the Bitmar situation. All we got was further down price action from that. And that's the risk you take when you're not in charge. Right? And this is the difference between understanding security and not. Bitmart is clearly an institution that you would think would have their shit together, because that's literally their business. And even they did not. So where does it start and where does it end? right? This is why crypto is so unique. There is no training that can prepare you. You just have to be ready to be ready, because you never know when the ball's going to drop. You just don't. Right? I mean, I don't think anybody's like, yeah, let me get my wallet hacked today.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody is doing that. I think you just need to learn to be proactive, because that is what's going to get you ahead. And everybody isn't built for that. So, I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from crypto, is that everybody just doesn't want it. And we have to be okay with that, because it's hard, right? Because you want to bring everybody along for the ride, but man, everybody ain't going to make it. So we also have to be cognizant of that as well.
Yeah, it seems like most of these promise coins and exchanges that got attacked, they sacrifice security for convenience. They want to make things easier for the people, but that just seems like it's making it easier for them to lose their money is what's been happening. So
yeah, it's always the trade-off, like convenience and security.
Yeah, it's a big problem, because you are your security in crypto. There is no stopgap, right? It's just, well, what do you know and what do you don't know? And a lot of people just don't want to learn. So that's on them.
Hey,
there's Frank.
Welcome to the stream.
How you doing, Frank?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, good. Yeah, sorry for being late. Yeah, I had to get my little one to bed.
No
Wait a
problem.
minute. You and Crypto Stylist have both the same background? This is suspicious.
Dude, great minds think alike.
I don't have a studio though. I just got the normal camera.
Yeah.
I'm in my so.
Frank, Crypto Stylist was mentioning that she is Korean, so that was a good thing for you and her to
We found another. Yes, another translator then. Nice.
My Korean's not that good. I was born in the States. But yeah.
Same with me and my Chinese.
Okay. Oh, you're
ABC.
Are you American born? Are you ABC?
Yeah. Oh, just a little bit of housekeeping. Yeah, thanks Anthony for the €5 super chat, and also Sasha for the $20 Australian super chat. So,
You don't have his
thanks,
message,
guys.
though. Sasha Tagger was talking about rhino skin.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, he was
I
saying.
missed that.
Do I have to read it out because it doesn't show up at all? That's
Yeah, it doesn't show.
Okay, he says, may I read it then?
Sure.
All right, probably not a good connection everyone wants to hear, but when I was in network marketing, I was told that people who make the big bucks in that industry have rhino skin, which means whenever they get a no from someone, they just move on quickly. So that's a very good point.
Nice.
It is really about getting. I love what Whale said about quality instead of quantity. That's excellent idea. I used to say, I was onboarding all the people that I love and care for, and that's really all the bandwidth that I have. If I don't respect and really want someone to come onto the boat, then why would I want them to come into the community, right? We're not after the volume because we don't have to. This is a quality, place that everyone's going to naturally be, understanding about the projects and the product of Hex. And we have to pick and choose people that are not going to simply come in here for a quick buck, right? Diamond hands only, not lettuce hands.
Lettuce hands. That's a good one.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny, right? When you sit here and you think about what the objective is to just buy something, hold it, never lose it, and get rich. Like, that's it. So when you sit there and you think about that, well, how do you just secure something for 15 years or whatever, however long you plan to hold it, right? A year, 10 years, whatever the number is. How do you secure it and position yourself or give yourself the opportunity to benefit from it, right? And a lot of the times that comes from you knowing. It can't come from anybody else because it's your asset. And I think that that's the biggest thing that scares people that are noobs, for example, out of dabbling. It's, well, how do we reach that level of comfort in the average person? Well, they have to actually, understand how the internet works, first of all, because even for me, until I decided to sit down and learn, I didn't really know. And that's pretty much everybody, right? That's why everybody's so scared to put money on the internet, because, well, shit, it's like a black hole for most people. And even for those that use it every day, it's just the same. They don't really know it. So I don't know, man. Like, again, it's easy to talk about onboarding and all that stuff, but I think the real question is, well, who are going to be the people that take us forward? Because everybody isn't going to come. It's just not possible. Like, if you sit here and look at Hex and just all of the contra speak against Hex, I mean, everybody is just not built for this game, even the people in this space, because they cannot even read. Like, that's a serious thing. And of course we got people that are paid not to, and that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about the people that are paid to do nothing. Like could literally read and understand if they wanted to, and they don't. So, I think we got bigger issues than just adoption. I mean, people out here that really cannot read. And it behooves them to be able to read. And yeah, here we are. So I don't know, man. I think we got bigger issues than just onboarding people. I think people are just gonna get this is just gonna be like the early 1900s, where some people are gonna get with it, and a lot are just gonna get left behind. That's where we are in time, because the divide in wants are just not equivalent. You got more people that want material things versus more that just want a better life, if that makes sense. Right. So yeah, that's what's gonna drive people, I think.
They don't like change,
Right. That's another issue. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but only 3% of the population in the crypto. So even if we just doubled it to 6%, what that could do for this community and would be
100%. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing, right? It's not to say that we shouldn't onboard. It's to say that we should spend our time on those that are quality people to onboard, because that's the hardest thing. I remember when I was first onboarding people, like, to me this was a no-brainer to anybody, right? Like, this is something that goes up in value and pays you, yield, like non-existent. Like, there are things you can claim that provide a yield, but do they really? Not really. This one actually does, and you can see it, right? And that's the difference. But even for people in my line of business, which is finance, it's not that easy. And man, this is a no-brainer for anybody in finance. Like, a thing that makes you money while you sleep and it goes up in price, it doesn't just flatline. Like, what? Hallelujah, Mecca, all that comes to mind. And even in my line of work, like, not that simple, not that straightforward. So yeah, and it's funny because emotional intelligence does have a lot to do with it, because it takes a level of maturity to realize you don't know enough, or you don't know what you should know for this new venture, right? And I think that is also another level of that's just another level of maturity you got to have. Where does it begin? Where does it end? It doesn't ever end, and that's the thing that people don't want to realize. They think because they just went to school, that's enough. Oh man, is that just not the case?
Hey, Crypto Stylist, in the green room, you were mentioning that you got involved during the sacrifice phase of Pulse, right?
I did.
In a lot of ways, you're incredibly fortunate to have missed out on all the jibber jabber, 2 years prior, where we all got into Hex and everything like that. So you came in at the next best possible juncture, which was the birth of the Pulse Chain sacrifice. Can you tell us more about that? Like, why did you get involved? What was the you mentioned you maybe seen Richard Hart's videos. What convinced you to finally take the plunge into Pulse and get started?
Well, in Pulse there was actually a really good friend of mine who has been in crypto since, I think he's like almost day one Bitcoin. He's so hardcore. He's been a coder since he's 14. And he gives really good advice. I trust him. And so we happened to run into each other, and he told me about this opportunity. He's like, just put some money in. He's like, just whatever you can put in, because this guy did this other project called Hex, and it was really, successful. And he's like, and if you want to get into cryptocurrency, this is probably one of the biggest opportunities because you can like he called it pre-ICO, pre-IPO, right? So I did that, and then so I put, I sacrificed, which was great. And then I wanted to research and understand what it is that I was sacrificing for and who the community was, who the founder. So I did start to watch videos with Richard. I saw actually a lot of videos with Wales. So Wales is one I watched him a lot. And so I started I'm like, what's Hex? Like because I sacrificed with ETH. I didn't know even what Hex was. And so I just started to research on my own. And then I, stumbled on, I've watched most of Richard's videos, if not all of them. And then a lot with Wales. I followed a lot Gerardo because I like, I like math and I like the graphs, and it made a lot of sense to me, especially the graph with the Bitcoin versus ETH versus Hex. That made sense. I was like, okay. And that's the other thing I do when I try to onboard people. It's like, okay, cool. If you don't really understand what this can do, here's a really clear illustration to show you what this can do, because everyone talks about Bitcoin and ETH, but look at this other, this token that has outperformed them actually by quite a lot, and so so I did a lot of research, and then as I started to deep dive into it, I reached out to Wales. He gave me a lot of advice. He encouraged me to stake, so I staked really early on, and I've just been following really closely ever since. So
excellent.
Nice.
Okay. You mentioned you onboard as well. So when you're reaching out to people, do you encourage them to also do all this, this research for themselves? And do you find you're meeting with a lot of, opposition or pushback? Like, I don't have time for all this stuff. You just tell me what to invest in. Can I give you this money? Can you just do it for me? What are the kind of, the road to onboarding? What's it like for you?
I tend to approach people, to Wales' point, people who I feel are more open to it, because otherwise it's a waste of time. People who are, maybe not so risk adverse, but are smart, but that aren't irresponsible, because I want to onboard people who will stick with it and not just dump. And so for the most part, I've had success, but there's some people where it takes longer than others. And I think the biggest problem is the volatility that really scares people, how far it can drop. I think that's just, we're not used to seeing that in, traditional finance and stocks. And I mean, it does happen, but not to that degree and that quickly. And I think the other thing is, there's a lot of negative content about cryptocurrency in general. And as you guys know, there's also negative things said about, this community or Hex. And so it's about, if somebody catches wind of that kind of content, about really kind of being able to explain to them, talk them kind of off the ledge, I guess, is really the thing. But for the most part, I've been really successful because I'm actually fiscally really conservative. So, and people who know me know that. So for me to be so into something and so believe in something to this degree, I'm able to onboard most people with that alone.
Excellent.
Yeah, but those are closer friends. So, but there are people who don't even want to touch crypto. People have asked me, can I invest for them? I don't want to be responsible for someone and hold their keys. And I don't want to be the counterparty, you know what I mean? So like when I lose it or something happens, or so I don't ever agree to do that. But I've been able to onboard quite a few people. So, and I'll continue to do so, obviously.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yesterday there was the stream that Richard just did, he talked about the incentive coin. Can somebody explain it better? I kind of followed it, but I'm not sure I understand what it is. Well,
why take any of our words for it? Let's talk to Richard himself. Richard, come on down. No.
I did actually pass him the link, so if he's free to join, then
he knows. But he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys want to take a stab at this, because this is all new. Frank, you got some ideas about how the incentive coin works and how there's a two token system. You guys, I mean, I've been stressing about this since he first announced it, and I have a lot of questions as well, but mostly I'm convinced that both are things that you want to get your hands on, of course. But Frank, you look like you've got this Frank thing on your face that you want to actually chime in and educate us. So do you have any idea about this incentive token?
Not at all. Not at all. I started this Saturday, or in my case, a Saturday morning video. I finished that one, and there was a Sunday morning as well. Sunday morning video, which I haven't finished yet. And apparently in a Sunday morning video, he's talking about this. So for I personally, I would get the PulseX token, but the incentive token, to play around with the incentive token, from what I gather is the voting part. And I'm not really interested into the voting part of the situation. So for me personally, I only get the PulseX token. So I don't know about the incentive token. If you want, because apparently the incentive token is only for just written down for the liquidity provider. If you provide liquidity, you can get the tokens, or you get, I don't know, somehow you get the account of the tokens. But yeah, I haven't finished it yet, so I haven't got a clue, to be honest. Sorry.
So it's not for everybody.
I was hoping he gives us more information than just the one the Twitter tweet here, the Twitter feed he put it on.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of people in the chat that are very close to. I wouldn't say close to the dev team, but they're very knowledgeable people. They're all spinning this 24 hours a day on the Pulse chat video, Pulse chain video chat on Telegram. I urge everyone to drop in and share some information there and listen in. It's a lot of great stuff. But yeah, it looks like the DAO is the decision-making token. You can vote if you have the liquidity farmed reward token, right? Which doesn't have a name yet, but we understand that it will be coming out. The 29%. So the deflationary aspect of PulseX, though, and the reward that they get, though, as holders, is not in actually coin delivery or drop. What it is, it's a buyback and burn system that just by holding it will, become very deflationary and hopefully appreciate in value that way. That's all I can ramble on about. Vince, do you have any aspects? Whales, Crypto King, do you guys want to share what you understand about this as well? Because this is what we have to go by right here. This little 2-paragraph thing.
I think it's for the bag holders that want to provide liquidity on the PulseX exchange, and give them incentive to put high value assets to provide liquidities, and they get that incentive token as a reward.
Yeah, I think it's just a dump coin, really. But we don't. I think as far as that nexus of the equation goes, there just hasn't been any hashing out of the fine details as of yet. At least that's the way it seems to me. But I haven't been in the Pulse plan room in a little while, so I could be behind on the game theory as far as that goes. But I kind of wish it was a one token system. Now I'm not sure if that makes things better or worse. I'm not, Richard Hart, but and I haven't really thought it out all the way like he probably has. So I don't know. But from my line of thinking, it seems like a one token system it would kind of create a closed loop, kind of like you have with T-shares, where that thing is that value mechanism. Because while we have the T-share system, right, the T-share system is really just a hex system. It's just a hex accounting system. And I think that you could probably have something similar in a DEX coin, right, where you have the value proposition being the reward coin itself. And it'll make it even harder for people to dump, because what you're doing is you're creating this incentivization for people to want to keep this coin, because you can keep earning it instead of, and people will want to earn it instead of dumping it, because it's that one thing that is disintegrating over time, right? Because 21% of whatever the fees are you get that buy and burn, right? So you're getting buy and burn, and then you're getting people rewarded in it out of a closed system. So there's only but so much to go around, right? So maybe it's because there's only but so much to go around that it's not a good idea. I don't know. But it seems like it would be something worth exploring. But again, I don't know if they explored it or not. So I'm just rambling here. But it seems like a one coin scenario might be good, but I don't know, because why would you have a two coin system where one of the coins is just dump city? I'm not into the yield farming and all that nonsense, so I don't really get it from that perspective. If the whole idea is to create a coin with ridiculous fundamentals, because then you're just adding a weak leg to the stool in my mind, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But again, I don't know enough. I'm not the guy that creates coins, so I don't know. It just seems to me, from a logic standpoint, that if you're creating a weak nexus in the system, well, that's still creating a weak nexus in the system. So it's not going to really incentivize people to want to get the coin, right? Because what's the incentive? And if it's just some coin that people are going to dump, well, that's not much of an incentive in my head anyway. But the fundamentals themselves are pretty phenomenal. I think it's just a matter of lining up the incentives with the fundamentals. And I think that once that can be done, maybe it is a two coin system with a DAO, because of the way rewards have to be distributed or whatever the case is. Because when now you're creating this whole thing, right, where you kind of need a DAO, because you have to figure out what goes where, how the rewards get distributed, blah blah blah, what's fair, what's right, and maybe the DAO gives you that ability to facilitate that process, right? Maybe you can't do that from a one coin system. Maybe that's why a two coin system makes sense. Again, I don't know, just throwing it out there. But in my mind, when I think of what could be PulseX, I think it could be something like a pulse chain, because a pulse chain has that closed loop system, kind of thing going on, where the value mechanism is the pulse chain coin. It's not anything tertiary, so it kind of gives it that 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 valuable asset look, right? Whereas you just got this pulse X thing here, and you're getting paid in something else for providing liquidity in this PulseX ecosystem. So I don't know. Sorry for being long-winded, but I just don't get the two coin
It's all
thing.
good.
So
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wales apologizing for being long-winded. May I get that sound bite, please?
Hex
yeah, it's
clip
it's
that.
one of those
Hex
things
clip.
I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about that for a while.
Hey, I want to address the chat real quick. I see a lot of new names in there. Thank you for joining the HexAsians. If you can minimize, if you're on a mobile, minimize your window and smash that like for us and subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to the HexAsians. Don't just
Yeah.
come passing on through because Richard bumped the link. We better see y'all here next week, Monday. And Thursday, if there's a show on Thursday too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's a lot of great comments from like D Hexagon laying it down in chat here, explaining what they know. Dorsey, no, there's another few things that really are head scratchers. Good food for thought. Take a look at them.
Yeah.
And
And that's the thing. Everything, is not hashed out yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, just waiting for more details from Richard.
Right. Whatever he comes up with will probably be good. So
It's definitely a lot to unpack, that's for sure.
Yeah, because it's about figuring out all the whys and the hows, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. That's what makes Hex successful. You can have good tokenomics, but is the system incentivizing people to actually act in accordance with that logic? And that's the thing that most people don't get. They think that just because fundamentals are there, that's sufficient. No. The math and the logic have to be there to back it up, because people don't got to do something if there's no reason to do it. Right? I mean, it seems kind of stupid to say, but people miss that very simplistic point. So you gotta kind of be wary of that, because that's what it's all about. What's gonna cause people to do A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. They're not gonna do it just because you think they should. What's gonna cause them to do it? That's what the question should be, that you're trying to find the answer to, because that's always the toughest question to answer. Why? Right? Like, what's gonna get a $1 trillion industry to look at Hex? I mean, that's the whole presumption of a design of the coin. So people just miss that, right? Hex is meant to be a multi-trillion-dollar coin. Now, why is that? How is that? Well, you have to understand more than just looking at a chart and just market cap in order to wrap your head around that, right? So this is another reason why Hex is so difficult for a lot of people. And I'll say this in the promise coin space, and this is why I've always said, stop trying to pitch this to people that don't even know that they don't know anything. Because this is what, anytime I see HexAsians on Twitter or wherever, trying to talk to people in the so-called crypto space, which is just a promise coin space. That's all it is. There's no crypto, right? Crypto is very few. Hex is the literal one that I know that checks all the boxes from that perspective. So when you sit there and break that down, well, who exactly are you talking to when you're trying to show Hex to somebody in the crypto coin space? To nobody, because they're not trying to hear it. They think they know something. So you're better off going to those that are thirsty than to those with full cups, right? Because if somebody is full or their cup is full or overrun it, at least that they think with information, whether valuable or not, well, guess what? Those are the people that are going to get left behind. Because I knew a shit ton when I found Hex, and I'm still learning. So that's the point, right? We always come back to the same thing, right? How mature are you enough to kind of wrap your head around what could be the future? Like, people, you still honestly have people that are thinking Bitcoin is 2020 technology, and that is crazy. That's crazy.
There's a lot of people with their head in their sand, that's for sure, man.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of
one way of putting it.
socials, they're still just ignoring what we have here, and they're making that massive mistake. They'll soon find out, like you say.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the promise coin space itself, or space itself, is a perfect perfect example where we see cognitive dissonance at a rate that you've never seen in your life, because people think that they understand something that they don't have the ability to understand, because they don't even know the basic definition of what a cryptocurrency is. So how in the hell can they know anything else? It's almost laughable. I mean, it is laughable, but people need to take stock, right? When it comes to that. Like, and I did a stream where I talk about all the stuff we have going on, and how it's literally I titled it "New Crypto Paradigm," because there isn't one, and we're creating it, because there is no cryptocurrency paradigm. There isn't one. Show me it. It's non-existent. Nobody can point to it, because the only thing that's happening in crypto that is actually crypto is related to Richard Hart. Go figure. So, and it's just one of those things, right, where it literally doesn't make sense, but that's exactly what happens in the space. Like, you have all these randos that don't know anything, and they're the ones with power. They're the ones with the bullhorn. They're the ones with the loud voices, but they don't know anything. So how do you combat that? Well, you just skip all the stupids and go straight to the smarts. That's literally the only way. I mean, it's like, look at the people that find us, right? Like, and people love to say we speak in the echo chamber, and I just do not agree with that notion, because how in the hell did I find you guys if that is true, right? I don't, and I think people just need to be careful with that thought process, because it's just not real, right? An like, the only echo chamber on the internet is the one you create for yourself, right? Because I'm not Asian, and here I am talking to Asia. So what echo chamber is there? You mean a hex echo chamber? Well, that's not true, because I wasn't a Hexican until I found Hex. So again, the work just has to be done, and you can't think about what the end result is right now, or whatever the case is, because you can't see it, right? If you could see it, well then shit, you would be able to calculate your your add-ons by the hour, but we can't, right? Until Jeannie reached out to me, I had no idea she was watching my videos. How would I? Nobody knows, until somebody tells you, you don't know anything. And that's the whole point. People miss that. I mean, look at all the people that think they know the definition of cryptocurrency. They don't even know that Bitcoin is not one. So again, where does it start and where do we begin? Right. And that's the question you always have to ask yourself, because only you know. Right. Imagine all those people that, I mean, I've been in Hex since October 2020. Look at the chart. Everybody that I shielded to from that time to now missed all those X's. All of them. And you think I look back again at them people? Hell no. They don't deserve it. So, it's like those are the kind of things you gotta think about, man. Like
On,
this. Go ahead,
uh,
bro.
on this past Friday night hangout, I was on the show with the Captain RG3, and I was telling them that Tech Tie, we onboarded a guy that he does D Live. His name's Tech Tie. We onboarded him live on stream on Discord Syndicate, and some of the Hexkins, donated him some Hex.
Hmm.
To this day, I was on his live stream the other day. I'm like, did you stake it? And he didn't stake it, so he missed out on
Wow.
days of daily payouts, and he just doesn't want to stake it. I don't get it, but it's up to him. But I just told him he missed out on 300 days. Now it's more than that, but of daily payouts.
Yeah, and this is my point, right? Like, I remember when I first came onto the stream scene, and I would see you guys try to onboard all these people, and it's like, yo, I get it, but people got to come, like, they got to meet us halfway. It can't just be us giving people money, man. Because what was the added benefit to that? Nothing. People just saw a bunch of Hexicans give away a bunch of money, and that was it. Like, that guy
And,
didn't, like, he
yeah,
didn't follow, like, he didn't meet us halfway at all.
another one was High Impact Flicks. Brian, he did stake some of the Hex that he initially got, but he reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and a Hexican gave him 100,000 Hex. And he's
Wow.
asking me, "Hey, Crypto King, who gave this to me? I want to thank him personally." I'm like, "Bro, I don't know. I don't know who did it."
Yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah, he needs to stake that too as well. So
Yeah. No shit. I mean, think about it. Here exists this thing that is literally the best financial asset to ever exist in our lifetime and probably in history, up to this point. And, people just, I mean, they're going to be mad at themselves. Think about it. How mad are people going to be when they realize how much of a ball drop that is, like just ignoring Hex. Like, Hex is gonna be the next Bitcoin, and people just, I mean, better really, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, how do you help people understand that? And you can't. You honestly can't. And that's important to understand, because where we're going, many will not make it, and they can't, because it takes a certain mental capacity in order to be able to just withdraw from what you think you know. I mean, just to understand crypto, a lot of people have to do that.
Yeah.
yeah, and
I-
T-Bird mentions in the comments, Christopher Green of AMTV has reached out to the Hex community via tweet, and I believe Richard also said go ahead and DM Richard, so if they want to get together and do a stream, because I know I was thinking about seeing if Christopher would come on the DS, but he runs a paid channel, so he'll probably want to do something on his own channel and stream it to his paid audience. But he's watching Hex. I've been in his live stream mentioning Hex, and he did say, Richard. He said a lot of great things about Richard and how smart he is, and he loves the idea of Hex. So Christopher Green is probably going to be coming on board heavy, because when he goes big into stuff. So
I'd like to call out. There's a post in chat from Luis Hernandez who says, "I'm new to the community and trying to learn more and more about the upcoming sacrifice. Can you all speak more about concerns about the upcoming fork? I am highly concerned, highly concerned that we will have our own damn new fork of Ethereum blockchain. I am so concerned that we will be paying much less gas fees, transacting on that blockchain, and I'm incredibly concerned that this blockchain is launching full, unlike anything else in history, with copies of all the ERC20 tokens, of which Hex is but one. and we're going to be incredibly successful doing so. These are my concerns. Anybody else?
Yes, do not sacrifice anymore.
Yeah, don't sacrifice now, please. Wait for the open
Yeah, do
market.
not sacrifice.
Yeah, don't sacrifice now to your pulse coin.
Yeah. That will be
Yeah.
one thing.
I just dropped a cool site to watch the gas fees. I mean, you could pretty much, if you're getting ready to make a end stake or swap some funds for Hex at txstreet.com for the gas fees, is pretty fun. And you could actually watch it go to a lower fee and then execute your transaction, and you'll probably likely get through. So for a cheap rate.
Yeah, every time I hear that wall of worries, it just lets me know that these are people that just don't know anything and just haven't educated themselves with respect to whatever is going on. Like, all these walls of worries exist in every facet of society that you engage in. What if you pay for a transaction online and they just take your money and the other side never receives payment and you just never get that item you just paid for? What if? Wow. Imagine. What if nobody gave a fuck about the what ifs? What if everybody just stopped being so just stop being so trepidatious against whatever they don't understand and open up their mind for 2 seconds? Imagine. What if? So the next time you think what if, think of the right what if, not the wrong one, because that's what precludes you from moving forward in life and progressing. It's not actually your concern, it's your lack of understanding of what you need to be concerned with, right? What don't you know? That's what you need to concern yourself with, because you don't know everything. That's why you're watching this stream. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching the stream. And people just underestimate that little fact. You're on YouTube watching other motherfuckers talk about random shit because you don't know enough. So you got more work to do, and that applies to everybody. That doesn't preclude me, because there's tons of stuff I'm doing that you don't see, because I don't need to talk about it. It's not crypto related. What do you need to know? So you have to know your lane and put yourself in that motherfucker, just like I'm doing, just like Richard does, just like everybody else does, right? People that you look at as being great or whatever, well, they're great because you think they are, not because you think, not because they think they are.
Yep.
So that's another thing you got to keep in mind, right? Like, people like Richard, people like me, we don't give a fuck about the accolades and all that bullshit. It's cool, but that's not why people do the things that they do. They do them because that's what they like to do. You think Richard likes doing all this shit? You think he likes just working hard? Of course. Why else would he do it? Like, who else does all this if it's not fun to them? So, that's what you gotta kind of understand. Like, this is real life. Real life is what you make of it. Nothing else.
Did we already address the super chat from Sasha Tagger, $5 Australian? I'll make a risky assumption. I think the younger generation are much more open toward crypto since they spend most of their lives in the digital world.
Yeah, here it is.
100%. I don't think that's an assumption. I think that's a fact.
It is a fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
You got VR going on now, too.
Wow. I think we got to take into account the fact that the people that are creating this space now come from a gaming world where NFTs were already a thing. NFTs aren't new.
Yeah.
Right? Only people that think NFTs are new are those that don't know anything because they don't educate themselves. And they'll be the ones buying NFTs expecting to get mega bucks and get wrecked. Right? I mean,
you could probably credit Brock Pierce for, that's where he made most of his money, was in the gaming industry with the buying, microtransactions in games and
there you go.
But yeah, that's basically where NFTs were born. So
there you go. Yeah, that's right. So that's all NFTs are. They're just fake money, man. Like, non-fungibility means exactly that. I don't think people actually know what those two terms mean when they're put together. I don't know, because I really don't get the hype around NFTs. But whatever.
The ones that I like are the ones that Psy and Hex Toys are making, because they, eventually they will come with physical item that's part of the NFT. That you
I mean, you got variations, right?
Yeah, it's different kinds. Yeah,
you got different kinds. I think knowing the difference between those that are valuable and those that have no value You know, I like we can sit here and point that out, but I don't think people are gonna be astute enough to make those connections, if that makes sense. You would think they would be able to, but I don't think they can. Because why else would you not just, uh, put yourself in a position where uh, you're getting something for something and not just nothing for something, right? Which is what an NFT is. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think Hex Crypto Joker and Hexy Quinn, they gave away the astronaut NFT from Hex Toys. So on one of their, I think it was last week's prize. So that's cool.
That's what's up.
So I thought last week it was really interesting how you guys went through the strategy of which token to use to sacrifice, because Hex, if you have Hex, the value could go up, but it could go down, and whether do you wait and buy Hex right before the launch, because if you have a certain amount of dollars that you want to put in, you'll know that dollar amount will hold at that time you sacrifice, or whether or not you put in USDT, like a stable coin. Or I don't know. I don't think there was really a conclusion of what the best thing to do is. But I mean, the best way I know Wales is to sacrifice Hex, because that benefits Hex, because it takes it out of the system, and that's good for the value of it. But what do you guys? Because a lot of people ask me that question. They're like, should I sacrifice ETH? Should I just hold on to the ETH? Should I switch it into Hex because that could go up between now and then? Or should I go into a stable coin? So for my most conservative friends, I just tell them to go into a stable coin and just hold that. I don't know what you guys have been advising people.
Now, according to Richard, the list that was used for the Pulse chain sacrifice will also be used for the PulseX sacrifice. So whatever coin was available for the Pulse chain sacrifice, you can use for PulseX as well. And then, it's literally up to each individual. If you want to sacrifice talking to Wales last week, he recommended sacrificing Hex because the Hex gets more scarce, in fact, when you sacrifice it. So it gets taken off the market. I was going to use USDC and sacrifice USDC instead of Hex, but I've changed my mind and sacrifice Hex instead of USDC in that case now. So for me personally, I sacrifice Hex. Whether or not the price goes up and down, it doesn't really matter in my case. If it goes up, good. If it stays the same as it is, still, I just sacrifice that amount and I'm happy with it.
I understand that, but I have friends who are sacrificing like $500. So if they have Hex and that goes down 20% or 30%, then that's these are really, really beginners that I'm speaking of. So I'm just trying to think. I guess the safest way is to Crypto Vince. I think it was you who said just wait to buy the Hex right before sacrifice, so at least you'll know that it has a certain dollar.
Yeah, but the only issue there is remember gas fees, please. Your friends may be caught up in a turmoil of high gas fees, and they can lose a percentage of their buying power that way as well.
Okay.
Exactly.
Take a look at Crypto Coffee. Has a top 3 priorities for as we lead into the sacrifice. His top thing that everybody that's involved in the Hex world is make sure you got a great Hex staking ladder going. Then that's when you start venturing off into sacrificing for PulseXs and stuff like that. Is secure your Hex staking ladder is probably the best thing to do first.
Did he do a video on that, or is it like a tweet?
Yeah, top 3 priorities for sacrifice. Just look up. I'll drop it in the chat.
That'd be great, and then I'll forward that to people.
Yeah, but for a newbie, in your case, sorry, Papa.
No, please.
For a newbie, just sacrificing $500. If you, I don't know, if you want to wait for Hex or you want to put your money before you sacrifice, or you put it into like stablecoin like USDC or something, then at least the value stays stable at $500, and you can just sacrifice $500. Because on the end, the USD value is the most important part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The USD value at the time of sacrifice. That's what.
Sacrifice. Yes.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about a TWAP so much with the time-weighted average price for a stablecoin. Your friends don't even have to concern themselves with that either, right? Yeah. So whereas people with other tokens that they're throwing in are like biting their nails, saying, "Did I just get it? Did it just dipped? It just went up? What's the price I got?" Yeah. I'm sorry, Vince. No, come back on. Say your piece.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just kind of managing chat right now, so yeah, I sort of lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all right. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah, kind of overwhelmed with chat because Richard retweeted us. So
I know
yeah,
this is like
there's
the
a lot
most
of
we've
comments
ever
to get
had.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
400
Yeah.
people. I think that is an all-time high for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely an all-time high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have been on, then 3,000,
Yeah.
4,000.
Oh man.
Great.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
that's
guess
very nice
that's
of him.
all these new names that we're seeing in the chat. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah.
I suppose all we really needed to know was that little aside comment that middle class clipped for the intro was it's now been validated that he knows that HexAsians exists. So
Yeah.
congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
It took a long time.
Yeah. Well, somebody asked what kind of Asian I am.
I
Well,
saw that comment.
I'm a permanent resident of Japan, and I've been here my entire adult life. So that's the type of Asian I am.
Gaijin.
I am a guy. I'm a Hakujin, the white kind. Yeah.
And Wells only is our chart ninja, so that makes it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't need it now, so he's honorary.
Yeah, honorary Asian.
He's on it anyway. He's on the picture. Have you seen that? Last time, I think it was on the Sunday stream, when Richard revealed his painting from one of our hexagons. He got painted, and there was a whales in the left corner. A whales only in the left corner. You should watch it again. There's a whale there floating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I saw whales only floating in the left top corner. Have a look. There's a whale in there.
Nice.
And first thing I thought was the whales only. Lucky bastard.
You mean in the painting with Richard?
In the painting, yeah, in the painting.
Oh, wow.
If you show the painting on there, so he's sitting on the planet. He has the ball, whatever. It looks like I don't know what it is, a hexagon in there, or Hex logo in there, and a spaceman. On the left corner, there's a whale floating in the sky.
Well, I already screen captured that painting and I NFT'd it, and then I sold it It sold 3 times, and now I'm wealthy. So congratulations. I'll split that with whales, I guess.
Yep. Nice.
I dropped that link in the private chat.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll put in.
I put it in the regular YouTube chat as well.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks.
There you go. So yeah, take a look at that.
Yeah.
Good, one of the good hex streamers that we've had, along with all the others.
Anyone want to tackle this question? I'm not exactly sure how to explain it very well.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
It stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. I do know what it stands for.
Yeah. That's good.
And it's a consensus type of active consensus type of team that can elect and make decisions for whatever based on coin holders or whatever kind of rules are set down by the community, or is it in the contract, or all sorts of other different things? I know that it decides things and you get a chance to vote. Is that correct too?
Sounds about right to me.
That's how I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and according to the PulseX, then, so the incentive tokens, which is going to be I believe the DAO tokens, we can vote with them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? An understanding?
So yeah.
Oh, Bitfinesse has just provided clarification. Our resident tanker driver who knows these things. He says it's a decentralized governing body via consensus. That pretty much sums it up. Very eloquently put.
Decentralized voting system, right?
Mm-hmm.
What up, Bitfinesse? So many names.
I haven't been keeping up with the Staker show lately, but I think they probably will add PulseX sacrifice mechanism in the app itself, just like they did for PulseChain. So
Yeah, the Staker app's got some interesting stuff coming out.
yeah, I'm excited
Cool
for
to
their
see.
V2 update.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that'll have a multi-sig, which is long awaited on the security front. And they're going to, this is not confirmed, but I believe I heard from Steph that they're going to be getting up to speed on the latest Gnosis Safe Rev, which has a very, very good, it's a very high quality product in the back end. And I really think it's going to be wonderful stuff. It's been audited, and they got very good audit, results as well for the second one. Yeah.
Wait a minute, because I thought they said they're focusing on V2, so I don't think they're going to allow sacrifice for PulseX via Staker app. Is that still the case? Because that's the last thing I heard.
Oh.
Really?
They're focusing on V2. Yeah, their focus is on getting V2 all straight. I'm not sure.
All right, I've got to start directing people away from that then for SAC. Okay.
Yeah. We could
reconfirm with Steph and get him to put out an announcement.
Yeah.
Okay, an official one, so we can pivot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
maybe
but if you have
Quant Gang can ask Kareem maybe.
Right. Okay. So barring Staker app, I just want to also remind people. I mean, I know that everybody in chat knows this already, but just in case your friends are wondering, we're getting so many people every day in chat coming in saying, can I keep it on this and this wallet, this and that wallet? They have to have it on an actual, get it on a hardware wallet for God's sake, and keep all of your ERC20s there. Do your SAC from there. Make sure it's a vault wallet that you started with a 24-word seed phrase that began from the hardware wallet itself, not a ported over triaged wallet from MetaMask, not the 12-word that you started on your browser extension. Make sure it's a 24 that you began on the actual hardware device. That's where you start. That's where you stake. That's where you'll delegate. That's where you'll have your long-term holds. That's what you want to do. Non-custodial wallet where you have the keys. That's the basic requirement for doing this whole thing. Please do that. Yeah, for your duplicates are important. So as long as you trust that same wallet, everything else will fall into play. Place.
Yeah. Oh, thanks Sasha again for the 5 AUD super chat. So
he's dropping bombs tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of like a board of directors. It seems like what he's describing there, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it ironic that Richard put out a what is it, a two-part, what is it, a this or that type of poll, and he said which token should actually have the voting rights for which one would the DAO basically be?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that itself is kind of a DAO thing to do? Should there be a DAO in this token, or should there be a DAO in that token? Well, that's a DAO question. By voting, you are actually part of a virtual DAO.
Oh.
That's true.
What would you think is the best play on that? Because the mother token, the PLSX token, right? That'd be like the more dominant play. So the people who hold it are actually going to hold it, whereas the other people are just sort of dropping it whenever they get it. On the,
I'm not so sure about that.
So it would make sense that the guys who are actually holding the mother token, they would,
It's only dumpable if the reward tokens are the only thing that comes out from being a liquidity provider, and that's not the case. You actually get the valuable or the less valuable token in a greater quantity when things shift in the market. So then presumably that over time you'll be increasing the bag of, or the value of your liquidity pool portion. Isn't that correct? You don't just simply get the value in these tokens. There's no way to consider that. Am I right or am I wrong? Because this is just like a bonus token that is vended out. You get it in these reward tokens. You don't just, that's not the only reason to provide liquidity, certainly. So there's not sell pressure just there, because then you would be forced, if you wanted any gains at all, to be forced to dump those tokens. I don't think that's how it works. Does anybody want to weigh in? Do I have it wrong?
I think the LPs typically determine if. So I'm thinking that RH wants to not make it a dump coin, right?
Right.
So you would think that there would be some game theory tied to that coin that would incentivize persons not to dump them. Like, maybe that's how the voting gets done. If you don't hold those tokens, and you don't get anything, or you can't dictate anything on the network, for example. So maybe that's something they'll do. I don't know, but I mean, this comment is definitely something that I would take as fact, right? You can't think that it's just going to be a dump coin and that's it. But again, it's like NFTs, right? Well, if they can make NFTs into a moneymaker, I'm sure RH can make a liquidity providing bonus coin into something as well.
So I guess the question is, which token would be the best to hold, the more valuable token?
Well, I don't know. I think you can't go wrong either way, right? I mean, people like diversification. I think you're best served by being diversified in Richard Hart produced coins. So,
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my strategy.
Yeah, mine too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good work. It's good crap. So why would you not continue to put your money where it works?
But you only get the second token for after providing liquidity into the pool, I believe. So you can't just sacrifice for the second one. So the
liquidity, that incentive provider coin, is only going to be given if you're a liquidity provider.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not getting that for fun. No, not at all.
Wait a minute. See, Children of the Grave. Wait a minute. When you troll, you want to make it so it's easily understandable. Otherwise, it's a misfire, and then you get demerits in the trolling league. Get your game back on, boy.
Yeah.
I understand what you kind of were saying there. The joke about the. Yeah, I get it. Got to take away points.
So do people? All right. Every time I see comments about NFTs and what they're going to be, it just tells me that people don't know what they are. So do people not, like, what an NFT is, right? Like, you just tying it back to something on some server. It's not an actual thing. Like, you're not buying anything.
It's just a serial number.
If that.
I like the way Richard said it. It's loosely tied to an item.
Yeah, well, there you go. Loosely tied. Yeah, I mean, that tells you everything.
He says that it's a serial number loosely tied to a JPEG that may or may not be hosted on the internet.
Yeah. Like, you're literally buying nothing. You're literally giving your money away.
Yeah.
So,
ridiculous numbers of people paying for those, but good luck on selling it for that much, or
right.
It's not going to happen.
Like, I really want that to be clear.
Though he does distinguish, and he says, well, NFTs that are related to something physical that you get, like if you get a piece of, you buy artwork and you get an NFT with that, then he classifies that in a different way.
Well, that's not the same thing. I don't think it's the same thing anyway.
It's kind of like a proof of purchase, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever. You still have the physical thing, so that digital artifact is irrelevant in my mind.
Well, in my industry, can you imagine someone like Louis Vuitton? Like, it's, you have an NFT attached with your bag, your physical bag, and then you want to resell that. That's proof that it's authentic. It's like the highest proof possible. So it does have value in that sense, but that's a different utility.
Yeah, it is different, right? I don't think that. And here's the thing: I'm talking about run-of-the-mill, everyday use. Like, there is none, right? Like, NFT serves a specific purpose, and people have to understand that it's really more of a gimmick than of a value investment proposition. There's no value to be had there. You're not buying anything, right? Unless there's something tied to that purchase in a physical sense, you just threw your money away. Like, the odds of you regaining your capital, i.e. your principal, very slim to none,
I
right?
agree with you. I totally agree with you. The market is catching on. Like, for example, Adidas just launched a drop of NFTs that basically give you access to future drops. So future
Oh,
physical and also NFT.
damn.
You can imagine like easy drops, like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the market does.
That's something worth buying, right?
Exactly. And they made it was hugely
Because
successful.
now you're incentivizing the purchase of the NFT with something of value,
Exactly. So I
right?
think that NFTs can have value. It's just that it's about the utility.
Correct. That's right. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, NFTs were responsible for a lot of the gas fee hike because
Yep.
one of the top gas guzzlers is OpenSea. So
Yeah, they usually what, number one or number two, something like that.
yeah,
Or something crazy. I mean, you know, what is the utility? I mean, and people talk about green and all this nonsense, right? But what's the utility in something that literally not only makes the network unusable, increases the cost of using the network, increases the consumption of the network? I mean, everything that it does to the network is super bad, right? Like, very bad. Not only for the environment, but also for the utility and the adoption thereof, right? So, how is it that this is such a thing that's promoted?
Well, don't forget the perpetuation of the bureaucracy as well. Let me look up that authenticity on the blockchain, spend
True.
gas to go check that as well.
True.
So that's kind of silly. Although, weren't there a whole bunch of ICOs that came out that said we're going to keep medical records on the blockchain? We're going to keep like
Oh yeah.
deeds and shit on the blockchain. Isn't this
it
the
was
next
like
iteration of that?
Dentacoin too for like
Yeah, Dentacoin, all
I
that
remember
crap.
that.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this supposed to be that next iteration? But it doesn't seem to be doing so, does it?
No.
not at all.
Got too expensive.
Yeah.
Anyone want to take a stab at this?
Let's see here. AMM Fixer bot sucks up all the liquidity out of the other swaps and places it in PulseX. Great for PulseX. I'm a Hexagon with having more liquidity in a single swap pump price. That question kind of makes no sense. I think what you're trying to ascertain is if that's just good for the price of Pulse. And the question is yes, because now in order for people to get that PRC that they just lost from having a copy that they just got given PulseX or Pulse Chain for, they're going to have to sell that PulseX or Pulse Chain coin in order to get that PRC20 back. So that's how we're going to get instant value on the network. Now the question is, are they really going to be willing to do that or not? Some will. And that's going to be where the opportunity presents itself for those that are waiting on opportunity. Right. So the question just is, well, what is the bot going to harvest? Is it going to be, from your perspective, is it going to be PLSX or PLS? And for most people, it's going to be both because I'm sacking for both. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not selling any of my PLS or PLSX. So, I mean, not much for me to do unless I'm going to get more hex. I mean, that's literally it.
Shout out to Blue Bum. I guess he's going to talk about NFTs or whatever on the Aussie Hex League show. So.
Cool.
Tune into that.
As long as it's useful, bro, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's just another tool. It's not crypto. It's just another tool. Like, as long as people don't get it confused, people will be just fine. Right? It's just, keep in mind what the definition of things are because they have definitions for a reason. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half. You don't got anything else?
No, but this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Really great meeting you.
Thanks for permanently replacing a middle-class working man on the show. Thank you very much. This is great.
Yeah, he'll be back in a couple weeks. Yeah,
a couple more weeks.
Gonna wrap up moving. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah,
to
he's
him.
in,
Hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
he's in quarantine. Hopefully he's watching now.
Yeah. Sure he is.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah.
And anyone out there, make sure you watch Richard's stream again so you can see the whales
Yeah.
floating in the sky. In the picture,
Yeah.
it's definitely a whale. I double checked that, and I saw whales only flying around there
Also, good catch.
in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
All right. Well,
All right.
this is the last stream of the year, so happy New Year, everyone. And
Oh yeah, Happy New Year,
Oh
everyone.
yeah, happy New Year,
Oh,
guys.
see
akemashite
you
omedetou
guys.
gozaimasu.
Yes.
I like saying happy new chain year. There you go.
Yoi
I like that.
otoshi o.
Yes.
There you go.
Happy
That's a
Pulse
good one.
year.
I like that.
Hmm.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy new chain year.
So next Monday will be, what are we
The
having?
third.
A live stream for the sacrifice as well, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably have some details by then.
Yeah. We'll probably have more details. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So Richard,
All
when
right.
you're,
Yeah.
no worries.
thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
everyone. Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Everyone.
See you,
Like,
everyone.
subscribe, hit the
Matane.
notification bell.
Peace out, guys.
Yeah.
Oyasumi.
Peace
Bye
out.
bye.
Yes, me.
HexAsians is a proud member of the Discourse Syndicate Network.